the hidden threshold we cross every night. Can sleep become a spiritual practice? There comes a point each night when the day can no longer be held together. The room is still around us, but its details begin to lose their importance. Sounds recede. The body settles into the bed. A thought starts and does not finish. Another arrives without any clear connection to the one before it. Somewhere in this soft unraveling, the person who carried the day disappears. We do not usually notice the exact moment. One instant we are lying awake, still connected to the unfinished world. Then morning arrives and several hours have vanished. We call this sleep. Because it happens every night, we rarely consider how extraordinary it is. We surrender our name, our plans, our worries, and the familiar sense of being someone. We do it without knowing whether we will dream, what form the dream self will take, or whether any memory of the night will remain. In the Tibetan Bön teachings presented by Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche, this ordinary passage is not treated as spiritually empty. It is one of the most revealing transitions in human life. Sleep shows us how dependent our familiar identity is upon the world of the senses, and how quickly awareness is lost when that support begins to dissolve. Welcome to Sleep Yoga, a Dragonlight Alchemy series exploring dream, sleep, awareness, and clear light. In the previous episode, we looked at the difference between lucid dreaming and dream yoga. Lucid dreaming begins when we know that we are dreaming. Dream yoga uses that recognition to become less governed by fear, desire, and habitual identity. But before dreams arise, there is another mystery. There is the falling away of the waking world itself. Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche describes ordinary sleep as a process in which consciousness withdraws from the senses. Thoughts and mental images become thinner and less coherent. Eventually, the moving mind dissolves into darkness. Later, when dreams arise, a sense of self is formed again in relation to the dream world. A dream gives us a body, a location, and something to respond to. Once there is a world before us, a dream identity appears within it. We become the one who is walking, searching, speaking, hiding, or trying to return home. During dreamless sleep, that familiar subject does not arise in the same way. This is why falling asleep can feel like nothing happened. We identify so completely with the waking mind, with its thoughts, memories, and continuous commentary, that when those activities cease, we assume awareness itself has ceased. The tradition asks us to look more carefully. It does not say that our ordinary experience of sleep is already enlightened awareness. Most of us enter what the teachings call the sleep of ignorance, a darkness in which presence is not recognized. Yet the darkness is not presented as the true nature of sleep. It is the way sleep appears when awareness is obscured and then forgotten. This is a subtle distinction. From the ordinary point of view, sleep is unconsciousness. From the contemplative point of view, sleep reveals the place where our usual means of knowing fail. The senses withdraw. Thought cannot maintain the world. The identity built from memory and relationship loses its support. What remains is not something the conceptual mind can easily describe, because the conceptual mind is part of what has become quiet. Sleep yoga eventually approaches this threshold directly. It asks whether awareness can remain present when there is no ordinary object to hold, no dream image to recognize, and no familiar self standing at the center of experience. That is an advanced practice. This episode is not an instruction in clear light sleep, nor should we pretend that simply watching ourselves become drowsy is the same as recognizing the nature of mind. But the threshold can still teach us something now. It can show us that the self we defend all day is not continuously present in the way we imagine. During waking life, identity feels seamless. We remember yesterday, anticipate tomorrow, and tell a story that joins the moments together. The story has practical value. It allows us to recognize loved ones, keep promises, learn from mistakes, and care for the life entrusted to us. Yet every night the storyteller grows quiet. The body continues to breathe. The heart continues its work. The world does not depend upon our commentary to remain in motion. The problems that seem to occupy the entire horizon at midnight may return in the morning, but for a period of time we were not actively holding them. This does not solve those problems. Sleep is not an argument for indifference. It does, however, reveal that the burden of being me is partly an activity, something repeatedly assembled through attention, memory, sensation, and thought. We can observe a smaller version of this throughout the day. When we are absorbed in music, the self-commentary may briefly recede. When we stand before a vast landscape, there can be a moment before the mind names what it sees. In deep concentration, we sometimes forget to maintain the usual story about ourselves. Then the commentary returns, and with it the familiar person. Sleep carries this release much further. It removes the sensory world upon which ordinary identity depends. We do not simply stop thinking about ourselves. The stage on which the waking self appears is gradually withdrawn. This is one reason sleep is linked with death in Tibetan contemplative traditions. The teaching is not that falling asleep and dying are identical. They are not. We ordinarily return from sleep, and the biological processes involved are different. The comparison concerns the dissolution of familiar supports. In both, the world we know can no longer be held in the same way. The senses withdraw. The structures by which we orient ourselves loosen. Consciousness must meet a transition it cannot control through ordinary habits alone. Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche asks a direct question. If we lose ourselves completely every night, how prepared are we to remain aware when death comes? This is not meant to make bedtime frightening. It is meant to restore seriousness to a part of life we usually treat as absence. Dream and sleep practice allow us to become familiar with change at its most intimate. Each night, the waking world dissolves. A dream world may arise. That world also dissolves. Morning constructs another apparent beginning. We pass through these changes so frequently that they become invisible. Practice begins by making them visible again. Modern life often takes us in the opposite direction. We carry stimulation to the final edge of consciousness. We watch one more video, answer one more message, follow one more thought into agitation, and then expect sleep to arrive like a switch being turned off. The body may be in bed, but the mind is still standing in the noise of the day. There is no moral failure in this. Many people are exhausted, anxious, or carrying responsibilities that cannot be neatly placed outside the bedroom. Sleep difficulties can also have physical and psychological causes that require proper care. Spiritual practice should never be used to blame someone for insomnia or to replace medical support when it is needed. Still, we can ask whether the way we approach the night teaches the mind anything. If the final moments of the day are filled with grasping, argument, fear, or endless consumption, that momentum does not simply disappear because we close our eyes. The emotional texture of the evening follows us towards sleep. The mind enters darkness carrying the traces of what it has just rehearsed. To make sleep part of the path does not mean turning bedtime into another demanding project. It means allowing the transition to become conscious enough that it is no longer treated as disposal, the place where we throw the remainder of the day and hope unconsciousness will take it away. There is a gentler way to enter. Before sleep, we can acknowledge what the day contained. Not analyze every event, not solve every wound, but recognize what is still moving within us. Perhaps anger remains in the jaw. Perhaps grief has settled behind the heart. Perhaps the mind is still reaching toward a conversation that did not end as we wished. When these things are noticed, they do not have to be carried unknowingly. We can say with honesty, "This is what is present as I enter the night." The purpose is not to purify ourselves into a perfect emotional state before we deserve to sleep. The purpose is to meet the threshold without pretending that we are arriving empty-handed. This changes the quality of surrender. Ordinary surrender often happens only because exhaustion wins. Contemplative surrender is different. We release the effort to maintain the day while remaining gently aware of the releasing. For a few moments, we notice the body being held by the bed. We notice that sounds do not require a response. Thoughts may continue, but we do not have to complete each one. The world can recede without our assistance. We are not trying to catch the exact second of sleep. That effort usually keeps the mind awake. nor are we trying to force awareness through the whole night. At this stage, the practice is simpler. Become acquainted with the movement from holding to releasing. This is where sleep can begin to teach us how we meet change. Some of us cling to the day even when it is over. We replay conversations, rebuild old scenes, or rehearse possible futures. The mind believes vigilance will protect us, though often it only prevents rest. Others collapse into sleep without any sense of transition, as if consciousness must be escaped rather than understood. Neither response deserves judgment. They are habits shaped by our histories, our bodies, and what life has required of us. But practice introduces another possibility. We can accompany ourselves to the edge. We can feel the body settle without demanding an experience. We can allow identity to soften without fearing that we will be lost. We can let the day end without deciding that everything must first be resolved. This has consequences beyond sleep. A person who learns to release the day may begin to release a conversation after it has truly ended. A person who watches thoughts fade at night may become less compelled to follow every thought in the morning. Someone who discovers that identity can soften without disappearing forever may hold their roles with greater ease. The night quietly teaches impermanence. It also teaches trust. We surrender consciousness every evening without a guarantee that the next moment will resemble the last. We enter darkness and most nights wake to find the world restored. The person we were is reconstructed so quickly that we rarely marvel at the return. Yet morning is not merely a continuation. From the standpoint of experience, it is a reappearance. There is a brief moment after waking when the world has not fully gathered. We may not know the time, the place, or what the day requires. Then memory arrives. The room becomes ours. The name returns. The unfinished life waits nearby. This moment, too, can become part of practice. Instead of reaching immediately for the phone or the next obligation, we can notice identity returning. We can feel the difference between simple wakefulness and the rapid reconstruction of the person with a schedule, a history, and a set of concerns. Again, we are not trying to reject that person. We are learning that the person arises within awareness, rather than assuming awareness belongs only to the person. This distinction cannot be settled by philosophy alone. It must be approached through repeated observation. What is present before the first thought of the day? What happens as memory returns? At night, what disappears first? The outer world, the body, or the story of who you are? These are not questions to answer quickly. They are ways of becoming intimate with transitions that have been occurring since childhood. The great promise of sleep yoga is continuity of awareness. But continuity should not be confused with tension or constant mental activity. The aim is not to drag the daytime thinker into the night and keep it speaking until morning. The thinker is precisely what begins to dissolve. The tradition points toward a more fundamental presence, an awareness not dependent on maintaining a stream of commentary. In the advanced teachings, when the moving mind dissolves without falling into ignorance, sleep is described as luminous rather than blank. But this luminosity is not something we should invent, visualize casually, or claim because we saw a bright image. The book is careful to distinguish clear light from conceptual imagination and from ordinary dream experiences. For now, it is enough to understand the direction of the path. We are not trying to remain mentally busy during sleep. We are learning to recognize awareness more deeply so that the quieting of thought does not automatically become complete unconsciousness. That work begins while awake. It begins when we can rest for a moment without needing an object. It begins when silence is no longer experienced only as absence. It begins when we notice that a thought can end and awareness does not have to end with it. Tonight's practice is intentionally modest. Continue keeping your dream journal beside the bed. Before sleep, give yourself 5 quiet minutes without adding more information to the mind. Dim the light if you can. Put the phone beyond easy reach. Let the body find a comfortable position. Then acknowledge the day in 1 or 2 sentences. This is what I am carrying into the night. Name what is actually present. It may be gratitude, fatigue, anger, sadness, anticipation, or simple restlessness. Do not build a story around it. Let the recognition be enough. Afterward, feel the weight of the body against the bed. Notice one sound without identifying its source. Allow your attention to rest with the natural breath. As thoughts become less orderly, do not follow them and do not push them away. Let them pass as signs that the waking mind is loosening its hold. Offer one quiet intention. May I remain close to awareness as the day dissolves. Then release even the intention. Sleep does not need to be conquered. Let it receive you. In the morning, remain still long enough to notice two things. Whatever remains from the dream and the feeling of becoming yourself again. Before memory fully organizes the day, ask, what is here before I remember who I am? You may find only confusion, heaviness, peace, or a thought already in motion. There is no correct answer. Record a sentence if something feels clear. This practice is not yet sleep yoga in its complete traditional form. It is preparation for a different relationship with the night. We are learning that sleep is not a blank interval beneath the spiritual life. It is a daily surrender of the world we think we know. It reveals where awareness is lost, how identity disappears and returns, and how little attention we have given to one of the most intimate thresholds of existence. To make sleep part of the path is not to demand that every night becomes sacred or successful. It is to stop calling the hours unconscious simply because we have not yet learned how to meet them. In the next episode, we will explore the Mother Tantra's progression of vision, action, dream, and death, and why the way we perceive one ordinary moment may shape far more than we realize. For tonight, allow the day to end without abandoning yourself at its edge. Notice the world receding. Let the familiar person grow quiet. And as sleep approaches, remember that the loss of the story is not necessarily the loss of awareness. It may be the doorway through which a deeper practice begins. Closing screen. Tonight's practice. Give yourself 5 quiet minutes before sleep. Acknowledge. This is what I am carrying into the night. Feel the body resting against the bed. Before sleep, may I remain close to awareness as the day dissolves. Upon waking, remain still and ask, what is here before I remember who I am? Lucid dreaming begins when we recognize that the world around us is a dream. Dream yoga begins when we use that recognition to become less governed by fear, desire, and unconscious habit. The purpose is not simply to control what appears during the night. It is to understand the mind that creates an experience, becomes absorbed within it, and then forgets its own participation. When awareness enters, even briefly, another way of meeting the dream becomes possible. The same is true in waking life. This episode is part of Sleep Yoga, an ongoing Dragonlight Alchemy series exploring dream, sleep, awareness, and clear light through the Tibetan Bön teachings presented by Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche. In the next episode, we will explore a deeper question. Can sleep itself become spiritual practice? We will look at what happens as the waking world falls away, why the hours of sleep are not necessarily lost time, and how the nightly disappearance of our familiar identity may reveal something important about the person we believe ourselves to be. If this teaching brought you a new understanding of your dreams, please like the video and subscribe to Dragonlight Alchemy. That will help more people discover the series and allow us to continue this journey together, one night and one practice at a time. Until the next episode, carry this question with you. If I knew that I was dreaming, what kind